listening to Convenience Matters, brought to you by NACS. Whether it's for food, fuel, drinks, or snacks, about half of the U.S. population shops at a convenience store every day. We'll talk about what we see at stores and what the future may hold for our industry.
Welcome to Convenience Matters. I'm Carolyn, Schnare with NACS. It's June 2020 and it has been one heck of a first half of the year, but convenience stores are open and have been there to serve their communities the whole time, just like us here at Convenience Matters. We created a new short series of podcasts that dig deeper into a few categories to help you grow your business, or maybe just learn something new. We're going to look at broad trends, what's going on at the store level, and potential future trends and disruptors. This series is all about liquids, those that go into the body and those that go into the car. This is the third episode in this series, and we're going to focus on packaged beverages. The previous two episodes are on cold dispensed beverages and fueling, so if you haven't already, check them out. We know from consumer surveys, getting a beverage is one of the main reasons for going into a convenience store. If you're a retailer, you're always wondering what's on the mind of consumers, especially in these new times. In this beverage category, you're at the mercy of basically selling the same thing as your competitors. So, how do you win that customer's attention in your store? Maybe they're heading on a road trip. Maybe they're getting back to work in their old routines. What are they thinking and doing that's different? We met Lori Stillman, Vice President of Research for NACS, in the previous episode, where she gave us a great overview of the beverage category and some opportunities in general for all kinds of beverages. To kick us off with this episode on packaged beverage, I asked Lori what falls within that category for our industry.
When we think about packaged beverages, there's lots of components that make it up. Historically, it was carbonated soft drinks, right? And I think most people look to that category as where we went to go get, a Coke or a soda, however you kind of refer to that category colloquially. Ironically, energy drinks are actually a bigger component of that today. And it really speaks to the fact that consumers are looking for some quick ways to kind of boost their body throughout the day. And so energy drinks, bottled water, sports drinks, iced teas, juices and drinks, enhanced waters, and we can talk a little bit about what enhanced waters are. And then there's other packaged beverages, which most people are like, well, what is that? Well, that's really where the innovation is right now. And I think one of the biggest components that we're really paying close attention to in those other packaged beverages are seltzers and ready-to-drink coffees, two areas where we know consumers today are really putting a lot of time and attention. And pressed juices, which is a little bit more of a challenge in our industry because there's a perishable component to that segment of the category. But all of that really speaks to different ways that people are looking to meet their needs throughout the day. One of the things we've noticed with ready-to-drink coffee with some of our day part data that we were able to access is we really see that category peak in the afternoon. And again, it's almost like somebody's looking for maybe a cold way to get some caffeine in their body, maybe to stave off afternoon hunger and just replenish themselves. But I think that other packaged beverage segment is going to continue to grow. We're actually looking at breaking some of those components out into some new measurements in our next category definitions for next year. Typically, we sell single bottles, and we may offer some promotions on the shelf that might incent somebody to buy 2 flavors or 2 bottles of a particular brand family, depending on what we're promoting. But we are typically not the place where we're selling 6 packs of soda or selling, a 24-pack of bottled water. That's not typically how we've merchandised and promoted ourselves to our shoppers. But I think what we've learned in certainly the recent weeks of all of the COVID-19 challenges is there is a place in the store for packaged beverage. We are certainly seeing it in the beer category where there's been a nice pivot from single serve to multi-packs. And the same is true for water. So I think there are space considerations that retailers are going to have to think through about categories where they want to play in a multi-unit sales, package on the shelf. And they need to look at what are the underperforming parts of their store where they might want to give up some space. And then what are the key items that they're seeing people buy multiples of that might support moving to a larger pack size strategy. And so I think this is a place where retailers need to really pay attention to what's selling. They need to talk to their shoppers when they're in the store, and they need to be willing to do some test and learns to really capitalize on the fact that consumer behavior has changed in light of COVID-19. People are looking for a smaller box to walk, and if there are categories that we know are important to them that eliminates their need to go to a larger store, those are dollars that we can win and add to our market basket, so it's worth doing.
In the past few years, the convenience industry has been recognized for selling more than 50% of single-serve bottled water in the U.S. Lori, can you shed some light on the success of water in this category?
The water category continues to evolve. I laugh as, I think back to when we first really saw water come on the scene, and a lot of people just didn't imagine that we would go to a store and pay for water in a bottle. But what we're seeing now is water has really become kind of this place where you go get some incremental fortification or enhancers. We see waters that have caffeine added to them. I spoke earlier to waters with protein enhancers. So it's gone beyond just flavor and an alternative to a carbonated soft drink or an energy drink, but I'm looking for enhanced waters to serve a need. I have a 17-year-old daughter, and when we do road trips, she likes to go get a particular water that has a claim of helping you sleep. And so she drinks it, and then she's conked out in the back seat of the car. Now, I don't know if it's the road trip or the water, but in her mind, that water delivers a very specific benefit to her that she seeks out when she walks into the convenience store, and we're making our family kind of circle around the perimeter of what we're going to get on the way to where we're headed. She is always grabbing that water because she thinks it will help her sleep in the car. So I think, again, people are really kind of being drawn to specific benefits, and enhanced water is a really great carrier for a lot of other nutrients and benefits that can meet the needs of the consumer. And then, of course, packaging plays a big role in that as well. So it's not just about having, the enhanced benefit of the water, but it's how you package it, how you message it, how you talk about the ingredients on the front of the label. And again, consumers are looking for that messaging to be on the front of the bottle. They don't want to turn it over and read the fine print to understand what are all the added ingredients. They want to see right up front, what are the calorie claims? What are the sugar claims? Are there certain grams of sugar or fat or protein that I'm going to get from this product? Or the more we claim that on the front of the bottle, the faster they're going to take that 15 seconds they're standing at the shelf and find the item that they're looking for.
Looking into the future, what are some things that retailers should pay attention to that customers are looking for in this category?
When I think about the future and what are some potential low-hanging fruit for retailers when they think about opportunities in packaged beverage, there's a couple that come to mind. First and foremost is making sure that you're giving categories that are the emerging categories the right eye position on the shelf. I think we have, over time, allowed kind of certain brands to really dominate by door, and that certainly makes sense. But within that, how are we ensuring that we're getting the items that we know shoppers are looking for and that pair well with other items in the store, getting them up on eye level so we can incent people, again, to build bigger baskets and find those items that they're looking for. So there's lots of opportunities to make sure that how you're merchandising product, it's easy for the consumer to actually see the benefit of the product that they're looking at with potentially not having to open the door, which is some great dialogue that we need to have between suppliers and retailers about packaging, but also about how we use the real estate of the door itself for merchandising promotions. If you have a lot of clings on the door, it's hard for the consumer to see what they're looking for without opening it up, and there's energy implications there that we want to be mindful of. But there's also opportunities to think about, with this new traffic in store, how do we use package or cold dispensed beverage as a way to get trial in our food service department? So are we being creative with the right promotions and pairing it with the right items? So a person who's looking for a probiotic water might not be the person who's going to react to buy this water, get $1 off of a cheeseburger, but they might very well be willing to buy this package and buy a healthy packaged snack that we have, assorted, whether it's dried fruit or meat snacks or something else. So think about what's going to trigger a behavior and how that consumer is most likely to pair that item, and then build some promotions around that to drive bigger baskets. I think that's a huge opportunity for us.
Beverage coolers can sometimes look the same from store to store, but if a retailer takes the time to make them stand out, to become a destination for beverages, or simply get creative with their promotions, they can win trips from those frequent loyal customers. We talked with a Maryland convenience store category manager to hear how his company is selling more water, more than anyone around their area. But more on that after the break.
This episode is brought to you by Nestle Waters. When water is filtered through 10,000-year-old glacial aquifers that make it rich with naturally occurring electrolytes, it has a crisp taste like no other. Discover Poland Spring Origin, 100% natural spring water from Maine today at a store near you.
Welcome back. I just opened a nice cold lime seltzer, my go-to canned beverage during the workday. All of these statistics and trends that Lori shared with us came from retailer-submitted data. But it puts it all in perspective when we talk with those who are actually in charge of products. I called up category manager Michael Jackson at my local convenience store chain, Highs of Baltimore. First, let's start with a little background on Highs and Michael, both having a long history in their respective areas.
My name is Michael Jackson. I'm a category manager with Highs of Baltimore, LLC. Well, Highs has been around for many years. It actually used to be a large chain operated in Maryland, Pennsylvania, and Virginia. Highs has a big history, especially in, when I was younger. I was a kid, lived in a city. We didn't have air conditioning. And when I would go out during the days, we'd walk to the library, which was air conditioned, and eventually we'd probably get a little too rowdy in there, and we'd go outside. But right next door was a Highs store, and we go next door and get hand-dipped ice cream and walk home. It's a family-owned company, and it's a great place to be and work.
Michael, let's dive right in. Tell me about your packaged beverage offer in your stores.
Yeah, we have some of our cold vaults are rather small, and we've done a unique thing, I think, over the last 3 years, which I think has helped us. We are doing by-store planograms, and we are doing planograms by looking at the scan data from the previous year for each individual store and trying to get the correct pack out for each item. So I think that's helped us. It's also changed a little bit over the couple of years that we've been doing that by changing how our vault is set up. A few years ago, it was much more carbonated soft drinks. Now water's taken over a little bit more. Our number one category still is carbonated soft drinks as far as sales. Then it's energy. And then right now, we've had a spike with iced tea. But water is taken up. Water and energy have probably increased the most out of every category that we have in that vault. We do have some private label. We just revamped our entire brand with new logo for the entire Highs chain. New graphics. We've got it nailed down like what our look is, and we've went back and applied that to our private label water. We used to have a very average bottled water where it was a pretty less expensive package, but we've now went to the bullet style bottles, kind of like with smart water. And the other thing that we've done is, because our water is matching our new brand. When you look at our cold vaults, our water sticks out because one of our main colors for our brand is red. And if you look in vaults, most water is blue, has a blue label, but ours is red, so it really stands out when you're looking at the water door.
I wanted to know a little more about driving traffic into the store. So, Michael, how do you promote what you're selling?
With us, we try to promote packaged beverages to as a draw to inside the store. We run, and actually I think out of all the companies in our operating area, we promote take-home more than anybody else. We do promotions regularly on the 15 packs, on 2 liters, on 12 packs, depending on what package the manufacturer has. But it's very important to be able to have something where they perceive it still as a value. We're pretty competitive. We're running like 15 packs, 2 for $8.88 now. And that's pretty aggressive for a convenience store. We've done buy one, get one frees on 2 liters during the holiday time to try and drive sales. So as the changes in the seasons, we try to focus on, being able to have things to promote, to draw people in. And as long as financially it makes sense, anything to drive that customer in there.
Michael, you mentioned earlier how Highs was part of your life growing up. I imagine that's the same for lots of folks who frequent your stores. What are some things you do that make customers feel at home?
Especially where we're located at, being a more rural convenience chain. I mean, we have a lot of regulars that come in. They're coming in all the time. We're the regular, basically kind of fill-in grocery store. We got a lot of laborers that come in. So these are people that are outside working, people that are, doing physical activities. So, we try to offer some promotions in order to do that, to appeal to that customer. And that way they come in the store, they buy other things. I mean, a lot of our managers and employees know probably about 30 to 40% of their customers by name and greet them when they come in every morning. Hey, Joe, how are you doing today? Yeah, you're going to go out it's going to be hot today. You're going out working or doing whatever. And, they know these people and they know what they want before they're even walking into the store. And I think it's a big thing with our stores that, we know our customers, and especially at the store level, they know who their customers are, know them by name, know what they want. So I think it's a big deal when somebody comes in and they can be greeted that way, and they feel like they're that's their store. And I hear that referred to quite often when somebody comes in. That's my Highs. They'll say that's my store. So it's like it belongs to them and it's their place. So, I mean, I think it's, having these beverage promotions and trying to be as aggressive as possible helps bring customers into the store. And then your everyday customer that's coming in anyhow, you're offering them something else. I mean, we're just started doing our rewards card, and we revamped that entire program. And we'll send things out, based on, what's selling, or it's going to be hot. We'll do, a buy one, get one or something on our water, on our Highs branded water, just to have something, to draw somebody in. But, we have the ability to do that we're very agile in being able to just say, oh, it's going to be 90 degrees tomorrow. Why don't we do something off the rewards card and put a promotion out there so that, our customers can take advantage of it and we can draw them into the store. And hopefully they buy other stuff. But, we're pretty aggressive with promotions, and we try to do whatever we can to appeal to just about everybody.
A lot of retailers find success with bundling food and drinks, and I wondered if this is something that you do at Highs.
We do bundling. A lot of times with food service. At one point, we did like 2 hot dogs, a bag of chips, and a packaged beverage for an offer. And we ran it at a certain retail. It was like a meal deal. We've done snacking bundles where we would do a certain brand of chip and a 20-ounce Coke. We've done some other stuff with Lake Energy as well. We did a Red Bull. If they bought a Red Bull, they got a free Highs water. And they've all done, each one's slightly different, but some of them do well and some of them do not. We've done some smart water. When we first did that, we actually put an ancillary rack into the aisle and had it at an ambient temperature. And a lot of people were like, well, I don't think they're really going to sell off of there. But we put it near the nutrition bars, and I was running a couple different things. One month it would be Cliff Bar with the smart water for this price, and next time it would be Kind Bar with the smart water for this price. And they did fairly well, and actually I think that helps. And people started buying it. I know a lot of people that when they work out, they prefer not to have very cold water. It doesn't work as well. They don't want it warm, but an ambient bottle of water is easier to drink when you're exercising than when, than ice cold water. So we've tried a lot of different stuff, and some of them work and some of them do not. But, tying your food service in with your beverages is just a smart idea.
As I mentioned earlier, convenience stores sell half of all single-serve bottles of water in the United States and aren't oftentimes known for their sales of larger multi-packs. Lori told us this was a huge opportunity from her research. Michael, as I understand it, this is a big part of the category for Highs too, correct?
So we've tried a lot of different stuff, and some of them work and some of them do not. But, tying your food service in with your beverages is just a smart idea. We saw a lot of the single-serve waters. We do a lot of promotions with that, but recently, especially recently during this pandemic, we sold a ton of the case water. We carry both brands by both major manufacturers, Dasani and Aquafina from Coke and Pepsi. And we also carry the Nestle brands for this area, which is the Nestle Pure Life and the Deer Park. But our stores are generally in kind of a rural area. And we have a large customer base that is outdoor workers, whether they're roofing or landscaping or whatever. But it's not uncommon to come into one of our locations in the morning and see somebody walking out with 3 or 4 cases of water, putting it in coolers on the back of their truck and then going. So we try to be competitively priced on that. The margin, of course, is usually much lower on a case pack than on a single serve, but we try to keep it in line so we're able to provide something to these customers. They're very loyal. They're coming in, they're buying, they may come in and buy that water, but they're buying breakfast sandwiches or whatever else they need, energy drinks and food items at lunch and that kind of thing. But we do sell quite a bit of it. We actually are, the next thing that's going to be on our agenda, well, my agenda is to come out with a private label case water pack. Because we want to have that. We do a lot of things where we donate water to charities, and we have events that we hand water out. We do a few of them every year. And when somebody asks us if we can donate something, a lot of times they're asking if we can donate water, and we want to put our brand out there. So we're going to work on doing a case pack water for the next step in our branding.
What is important in your experience for retailers to be competitive in this particular category?
I think the biggest thing when managing, say, packaged beverage to be an advantage is being able to adjust quickly. A lot of people like to paint with a broad brush, and once they do that, they stay with something for so long. I mean, we're always looking at different products to put into the vault. You got CBD drinks now. You've got other things, but you have to be able to maneuver and, basically turn on a dime in order to get whatever the new product is out there, or else you wait too long and it may be over, and it may not catch on. We always try to get, especially from all the DSD guys, we're very swift. If it's coming out, we want it. We'll figure out where it goes in the vault. We do the planogram. We adjust the planogram. We have a plan to put it in there, and we get the new items out there as quickly as possible. You got to be able to be agile and make changes as quickly as possible, especially in the convenience store chain.
There's an ancient Greek saying that change is the only constant in life, and that rings truer in this first half of 2020 than any time that I can remember. Lori told us about trends and numbers from NACS research, which were mostly based on 2019 sales numbers. It's hard today to know if any of us will get completely back to normal by the end of 2020, so it's fair to question whether one can benchmark off last year's data. The answer is yes. Yes, you can and should. For listeners who are thirsting for more, pun totally intended, Lori, how can they get their hands on the facts of this and other categories that NACS analyzes?
The SOI report will be coming out early July to our subscribers who have purchased that product, and of course is available at any time at our convenience.org website. We have been producing this report for 50 years, and so this year's special edition, if you will, of the report that will be coming out here in just a couple of weeks really celebrates 50 years of convenience retail. And so we're able to really look at how far this industry has come and the role that we play in the communities that we serve, and continue to provide the right insights and measurement that are going to help us have another great 50 years ahead of us. But I will tell you that I think as people are saying, gosh, the year has changed, right? Looking at 2019, does it even matter anymore? Because 2020 has continued to be kind of a wild roller coaster ride of surprises at every turn. And my argument would be is, yes, we really look at the foundation and the health of our business is what the 2019 data tells us, right? So if you've gone into stores being closed because of COVID-19 or because of protests in your neighborhood, that's going to affect current category sales, but it's also potentially going to temporarily mask opportunities or challenges that you had going into all of this change. And while consumer behavior is certainly changing in a real-time manner, if you were running an unprofitable cold dispensed beverage business or you were losing sales because you didn't have the right offerings matched to the right day parts, chances are those problems are still going to exist in whatever new normal looks like. And so I would tell you that I think one of the most important things that we can do with the 2019 data is use it as a way to really look at where there might potentially be some stress cracks in the foundation of our business and fix them now, so that as we're making other changes that accommodate the changes in consumer behavior that have been born out of recent months, we're going to be building on a super solid foundation for the future.
The ongoing pandemic situation is certainly going to make for a very different landscape when we look at these categories next year. But it's very important what you said about benchmarking against previous years as a way to stay nimble going into the future. Well, I hope you enjoyed this special series diving deep into what makes up very important categories for our industry, fuel and beverages. Check out the other 2 episodes and let me know what you want to hear more of in the future by sending me a note at convenience-matters.com. Stay healthy, stay hydrated, and stay informed. Thank you for listening to Convenience Matters, brought to you by NACS and produced in partnership with Human Factor. This episode is sponsored by Nestle Waters, and thank you to Lori and Michael for their time and insights. To learn more, visit convenience.org.